Hey everybody, it's Gary from Ginyu Talk, and I've got an amazing, rare interview for you guys. As you guys can see, I have John Burgmeier here, the voice of Tien and Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho. John, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, this is your first show in the UK, and so this is something special for you. What are you looking forward to on your first trip to the UK, as well as your first event in the UK?
Oh wow. I mean, that's how can I name just one thing? I don't know. Whenever I go to a place for the first time, I always say it's all new to me. So anything I see is a treat. I don't have any major touristy spots to pick out or anything like that. We're gonna try to see just whatever comes our way.
Excellent. And then I think then kind of just jumping into the work that you've done. So I know as this is more getting you talk more of a Dragon Ball conversation itself. You've voiced the voice of Tien over the years, and what's your connection like with Tien in terms of having when you look back on the work that you've done for the character itself?
Uh well, Tien was special in the sense that he was the first recurring character I ever had an opportunity to voice. I started out working for Funimation on the production side. I was an engineer, and then I uh, worked on the script writing side of things. And um, the voice acting thing was something I was interested in, but I wasn't particularly trained in. And it was the thing I kind of was able to learn a bit on the job from watching some of the other amazing actors that are in the Dragon Ball cast and working with them in the day and trying to write for them at night. And eventually the opportunity came to try out for Tien, and uh, Chris Sabat, the director, and our boss at the time, a man named Barry Watson, both agreed that yeah, let Burgmeier give it a try. And then what do you know? The next thing you know, I'm doing some voice acting, on a regular basis. So it was uh, I I definitely learned a lot
Yeah.
working on Tien, um, because I know I was very underprepared and overwhelmed by the moment of being able to get in the booth and record him.
Yeah. And then kind of like when you in terms of, as I said, just still on TN, what would you say of all the lines or that you've delivered was your favorite TN line when you look back? It doesn't have, you don't have to think too far back. Just the one that kind of rings that rings true to you in terms of like when you think of the character, the first one that you think of.
Oh man, I mean that's asking a lot because this is 25 years ago we recorded this stuff. Um, I I don't know if it's the best line or where it ranks in all of the Tien lines, but the one that has never left my memory in all the time since I've recorded is the one where he's battling Cell. And it was purely an invention of the writer who was working on that script, a man named Neil Bly. Uh, uh, I might just be a pothole in the road to you, big guy, but I'm going to be one big pothole. It's like it's so ridiculous and yet so appropriate to the moment.
Yeah.
So that's one that's always just kind of lived in my memory.
Oh, that's a good one. I think I won't lie because I've completely forgotten about that one initially, and I will have to rewatch it to hear it, and which I'll probably do tonight, and then I'll bring it up to you tomorrow when I see you again, and then just finally on TN itself, like what would with the way the series has gone, and with it's continuously going crazy and crazy and crazy, what would you if you had to pick what an arc for Tien specifically to showcase how great he still is of a character, what kind of from the top of your mind, quick idea of what kind of arc would you want Tien to have as a character, just to remind people of why he's still a great character?
Oh, I mean that's easy. There's okay. There's two ways you can go with Tien.
Yeah.
One, it's never been canonically explained why he has a third eye.
Okay. Yeah.
So just like all of the others, he's an alien from another universe. Whatever. He's got all sorts of secret powers that need to be unlocked. Unlock those powers. Get him back in the main group.
Yeah.
Plan B. Krillin, Tien, buddy cops.
Okay, okay. I can get
Just think
behind
about
that.
it for a second. It works.
Tien, Krillin, buddy cop. As like police or just fighters, mystery hero fighters, if you will.
Uh, you could go either way. I think I like your mystery hero fighter spin better. I like that better. But the premise, the genre would fall into like the buddy cop premise. You got the super serious, super stiff Tien, little loose around the edges Krillin. Somehow they get it done.
Excellent. I mean, yeah, I can.
Somewhere in there, Chaozu's lurking around in there somewhere too. I
Yeah,
mean,
Chelsea's always lurking around. Hopefully he doesn't blow himself up again like he did against Napa. And then kind of like coming to another iconic role that you've done uh, for one of my favorite animes, Yu Yu Hakusho, Kurama. You know, tell me how did that come around and like in terms of that, and how did you feel kind of voicing that character, because when you look back between the two, you could in a say Kurama had a bit more layers to them in terms of like
sure.
in terms of the dialogue that you kind of gave, in terms of the eloquence of the character itself, like how did that come around, and how and your connection with Kurama and how you felt about him.
That was one where that was probably the first one um, where after having been cast as Tien, and it was very like quick process and very just super small audition process. Kurama was probably the first one where it was a big role, and I participated in the audition with all the rest of the actor pool, and then was awarded the role. That was I had a little bit of an advantage in that working in the in house production staff. I was working on the scripts, and I had a little bit of a preview of what Yu Hakusho was going to be. Um, Enough so that when the auditions rolled around, our boss came around and was like, "Hey, are you going to do these auditions?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll probably give it a try. Is there a character you want to read for?" I was like, "Well, if I have a shot at any of these guys, it's this one." And I pointed to Kurama. Uh, he's like, "You don't want to read for any of these?" No, I don't think I need to read for any of these others. I think I want to read for this guy. Oh, okay. So I went down and I read for Cromwell. He made me read for all the others as well, but for whatever reason, like just knowing just only just the most basic details of who he was and where he was from and all that sort of stuff, I kind of like, yeah, this one resonates with me, and I just went into that audition with the voice ready to go, and um, I don't know, it was kind of intuitive, but it worked out, I guess. I don't know.
No, and I think and then with because a lot of when for the stuff I've kind of seen in terms of like voice actors with behind the scenes, some are more animated as they do the lines, and I know as like Karama is very soft spoken, and I think some with the elegance and sometimes with the rose and everything. Did you ever do any little animated movements as you were voicing Karama in terms or was it just or was the character just too calm and elegant enough that it wasn't quite required for you to tap into any actual physical motions to convey your points with the script with the lines.
That's hard to say. I don't. I know back in those days when we were recording those episodes, we were working in very small recording booths. So stretch your arms out, you're going to hit a wall. So I know in those days, trying to be as still as possible was a benefit, because otherwise you're going to start knocking into stuff. And um, nowadays, when we record things, we're in a much bigger space where you can actually stretch your arms out without touching a wall. Um, we don't have paper scripts that can be shuffled. It's all on screens. Uh, Nowadays, when I'm recording stuff, if the character is involved in some kind of a physical motion, I'll actually, tense my body and start doing things to kind of mimic the motion of the character. But I don't know that I did it so much back then.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah, I think for both characters, like I said, I can't really think that it would have required a lot. Maybe Tien a few little during the martial arts tournaments and everything, and maybe you might have to throw a few punches, kicks here and there.
I might move like just the trunk of my body and just. I mean, it's more important that you just kind of tense up your diaphragm and your chest and get all of that part right. It's not. It's a lot less important what your arms and legs are actually doing.
No, I can get
You
behind
want to
that.
keep your head, right there in front of the mic. You don't want to be bobbing and weaving and moving your head all around as you record.
No, I agree. I agree.
But sometimes you can't help but get into it a little bit. So it does happen.
Okay. Yeah, no, and then just the last couple of questions, and as I said, when I spoke to Linda, there is obviously these constant conversations about Yu Yu Hakusho being reanimated. I think for me personally, it would be very difficult if you did not voice Kurama, as well as all the other original actors, voice actors for that role. Would that be something that you'd be interested in coming back to if it is something that became concrete and presented to you?
If it was presented to me, if they invited me to come back and do it again, I'd be all aboard. Yeah, it would be amazing to revisit that character. Um, I was a little bit nervous about whether or not I even still have the voice in me. I mean, I was 25 years younger and 25 pounds lighter when we recorded it the first time. So my voice has changed a little bit over the years. We did those Yu Yu Hakusho OVAs just I mean maybe it's been 3 years at this point since we recorded them. I was worried then that I wasn't going to be able to find the voice again, but Justin Cook directed me for those sessions, and he came in and he had some old recordings of some of the later episodes we did of the original series, and so he played some of those tracks, and I kind of A-B'd the old tracks with my voice now, and I was like, wow, okay, so with a little bit of warm up, I can still get there. So it was a very happy for me to learn that I still got it. I still got it. If I try a little bit, I still got it. So
You still got it.
if they're going to do this Yu Yu Hakusho thing, if they want the original cast, all I'm saying is whoever's out there making this happen, make it happen fast before I just completely age out of the role.
Yeah, you heard him.
Or find a new storyline where Kurama's an old man. One or the other.
You heard it. You heard it. And then finally, the last question, as you said, as we mentioned, this is your first UK show. What are you most looking forward to in terms of experiencing on your first show in the UK?
I I have no idea. I mean, it's I have no idea what to expect. I'm just looking forward to having a fun day and hopefully having a chance to meet a whole lot of fans and say hello to some folks and on the other side of the world from where I live. Uh, that's it.
You guys heard it here. It's been, this is Gary from Ginyu Talk, and I've been speaking to John Burgmeier. Again, thank you, John, for taking the time to actually speak to us. It's been a pleasure, and
Well,
thank
thank
you so
you.
much for the work that you've done. Like I said, it's brought a lot of good memories for a lot of people, and long may you continue doing more great, amazing work, and hopefully we'll speak to you again in the future on another UK show.
Well, thank you very much. I
Thank
look
you
forward
again.
to coming back.
Thank you.